Yes, I know it's not Wednesday, and yes, I'm going to be uploading this video anyway. Hello everyone, welcome back to Becca's Book Nook. Today I'm going to be talking about 22 books that I hope to read in 2022. 22 books is quite a lot of books to cover in one video, and unless I want to make it like a million hours long, I'm just going to quickly mention the title and the author and maybe a sentence about why I want to read it. So let's jump right in. Kicking the list off with my queen, Cassandra Clare. This year I will obviously be reading Chain of Thorns, which is her third and final installment in her Last Hours trilogy. It was supposed to come out in March, but she had to push it back to November. Things get crazy, and obviously she needed a little bit more time to work on it. I'm still insanely excited and counting down the days until I get to read it. Keeping along with her, I also need to read Red Scrolls of Magic and The Lost Book of the White this year. They are both fairly short. I have them both on my shelf already. I just haven't had the time to get into them, and I'm gonna make them a priority this year. Moving on to Sarah J Maas for my fourth and fifth book that I need to read this year, we have A Court of Silver Flames, of course, as well as Crescent City. Both of these books I have and just have not gotten to yet. I was hesitant to get into Akasef because I just have never been a big Nesta fan, but I've just heard too many good things about it to not get into, and I heard that the spice is immaculate, so I need to get into that. And Crescent City also, I've just heard too many good things not to read, so I will definitely be getting into both of those this year. Moving on to our girl Leigh Bardugo, I do need to read Rule of Wolves this year, the second book in her King of Scars duology. I loved King of Scars, so I definitely have to read Rule of Wolves, but I am waiting for it to come out in paperback. And then I also need to read Ninth House by her. I've heard too many good things about it, and I just did a thing on my Bookstagram where I asked people to give me recommendations for 2022, and someone recommended that one, so I definitely need to finish that this year. Next up, by Stephanie Garber, I need to finish the Caraval trilogy and read Legendary and Finale. I loved Caraval this summer. I listened to it partly as well as read the rest of it, and I really liked it. It gave me super strong Alice in Wonderland vibes, and I loved just the circus sort of carnival aspect, so I definitely need to finish that trilogy because I loved it so much, and I'm hoping to like the other two just as much. Next up, I have to read Addicted to You by Christy and Becca Ritchie, I think their names are. I have heard so many YouTubers that I watch rave about this book and this whole series, the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. Sorry, I just got a text. It's hard being popular. It was literally my aunt. Anyway, someone did give me the first book of this series slash like epic. I heard it's like crazy long, so a saga I guess would be the best way to explain it. But I was gifted this first book for Christmas, so it is on my January TBR actually. I'm not sure if I will get to it this month, but definitely will be reading it this year. Next up, of course, from the love of my life, Emily Henry, will be her book Book Lovers, which is coming out in May, and I'm literally counting down the hours because you guys all know how I felt about People We Meet on Vacation. I'm obsessed with it, so I'm hoping that this book is just as important to me and amazing. Next up in 2022, I am intending to read some more classics, and the three books that I have on this list are Emma and Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I am currently working on Emma, and Sense and Sensibility will come shortly after. And then I would also really love to read Wuthering Heights by Charlotte or Emily Bronte. I can't think of who it's by right now. One of the Brontes. I then also have to read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover this year. I did just read my first Colleen Hoover book on January 2nd. I sat down in the morning and just read all of November 9 by Colleen Hoover in a day. It was amazing. I really liked it, and it made me want to read more of her books, and someone recommended Ugly Love to me, so that is one that I have to get to this year. Next up, from Roshani Chokshi, I have to read The Bronze Beasts, which is the third and final book in her Gilded Wolves trilogy. I'm ecstatic to read it. It's been out for a while again, but I'm waiting for it to come out in paperback so that I can have the full set. I loved the first two, so I can't wait to read the finale and see how it wraps up. The next two books I have to read this year are two by Elizabeth Lim. We have Spin the Dawn and Six Crimson Cranes. I've heard amazing things about these books and just about Elizabeth Lim's writing in general, and these two were recommended to me for my 12 books to read in 2022 on Instagram, and I'm really excited to get into them since two separate people recommended the books to me, so obviously they're loved by many, and the covers are just so stunning, so I'm really excited to get into them. I then do have to read The Diviners, which was recommended to me because of my love of The Infernal Devices. I haven't really heard much about this book, but I know lots of people that have read it, so I'm looking forward to getting into it and hopefully loving it. So I will obviously keep you guys updated if I like it, but I have high hopes for it. And the final 3 books on this list are the Daevabad trilogy. I'm not sure if I'm saying that properly, but it is City of Brass, The Kingdom of Copper, and Empire of Gold, which are 3 books that I every single time I go into a bookstore, but I've never really thought to pick them up for some reason, but they were recommended to me, so I will be reading them this year, and I'm really excited to get into a new fantasy series by an author I've never read before. I feel like I've just been so off fantasy lately, and I'm not sure why. I've just been really on a romance kick, and I love it, but I am missing my high fantasy books, so I'm really excited to get into those this year. Obviously, there are so many more books than just these 22 that I want to get into this year. In 2022, my reading goal is going to be 75 books, so this is just a small portion of the ones that I want to read this year, but I appreciate all the recommendations that I've gotten, and I can't wait to read all of these and more. And if you have more recommendations for me, please comment them down below. I would love to hear your thoughts, and as well as what you are planning to be reading this year. Thank you all so much for watching this video. There's 100 of you guys now, which is crazy. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate the support, and I hope you have been enjoying my reading journey these past few months and are excited for what 2022 holds for this channel. Please make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. I always look forward to making new friends on the booktube community. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for next week's, and have a great day. Bye!